In Los Angeles, Detective Mark is on leave, grieving the death of his wife, Rose, which has led him into an alcohol problem. Still, he must return to the station when he learns that his son, Trent, has been arrested for fighting. Officer Garcia persuades the other party not to press charges, so Mark bails Trent out and gives him a harsh scolding. Tension has been running high between them since Rose's death, and things only get worse when Trent realizes that Mark spent his money on alcohol instead of filling the car's tank. They decide to take the subway, and along the way, Trent tucks some money into the pocket of a blind, homeless man named Sarge. On the train, Mark nervously fiddles with Rose's wedding ring and finally listens to Trent's side of the story, giving them a moment of emotional connection. Suddenly, the train shudders to a halt as a brilliant blue light appears overhead. Mark speaks with the subway attendant, Audrey, who explains there's been a power outage and the radios aren't working. Then, the tunnel trembles again, and Audrey receives a garbled radio message. Do not look at the lights. When the train shudders once more, the group decides to evacuate. Walking along the tracks, they hear strange noises from outside. Meanwhile, Officer Garcia emerges from the restroom to find the station empty except for Officer Jones. Together, they exit the station and see the same blue glow. Everyone underground follows its pull except Sarge, whose blindness renders him unaffected. The group reaches another station and tries to find a safe exit, but a desperate woman, intent on reuniting with her family, races up the stairs and looks at the light. Half her face turns black. Mark quickly realizes what's happening. Anyone who looks at the light is absorbed. He closes his eyes, grabs Trent, and keeps him safe. When he looks again, he sees the beam emanating from a massive alien ship above ground. Mark leads Trent, Audrey, and the few survivors deeper into the tunnels, where they reunite with Garcia, Jones, and Sarge. Garcia gives Mark a gun for protection. After walking all night, they find a stairwell with a window showing the Air Force attacking the alien vessel. Jones finally gets a signal on her radio and calls for help, only to be told the bombardment will continue, even if survivors remain. The alien defenses down the fighter jets with ease. As bombs fall and the tunnel begins to collapse, some unknown survivors are crushed, but the core group manages to find a hole in the ceiling. As they emerge, an alien creature attacks them. It absorbs Garcia, then switches on its light, aiming to capture Trent and Mark. Mark fires until it dies, then rescues Garcia, who astonishingly can breathe inside the creature's body. Officer Jones wonders whether the aliens intend to keep them alive. At that moment, the creature reanimates and grabs Jones to extract her brain. Mark shoots again to give everyone a chance to flee, but is caught by the creature's tentacles. Audrey tosses him a flare, which he uses to force the creature back, then places it in a car's gas tank that has fallen into the tunnel. When the creature tries to pursue them, the car explodes, killing it. Above ground, they see that the alien ship has dispatched a towering alien, actually a colossal robot, after them. As helicopters arrive, the giant robot downs them, then uses its lights to abduct survivors. Because Sarge is blind, he's spared from being absorbed, but the giant robot manually scoops him up. The robot returns to its ship, revealing that a human-sized alien pilot controls it. Mark awakens in a chamber filled with human bodies and viscous alien fluid. Another creature and a brain-harvesting robot stand nearby. Mark dodges tentacles in search of Trent. When he fires on the robot, the alien captain activates the light beam, transporting all the bodies aboard except Mark, whose head the robot grabs to extract his brain. Mark shoots a tentacle, falls into a water current, and is swept overboard, but his leg snags on a railing, saving him. Mark climbs back inside the ship and discovers that the aliens insert human brains into robots as soldiers. The only living alien is the captain, Jarrett, whose red eyes distinguish him from the other pale blue lights. Following Jarrett, Mark learns that Jarrett rescued Elaine, a human woman 3 months pregnant whose brain the aliens had intended to harvest. Actress Elaine explains that upon first seeing the light, she was impregnated by it, and that Jarrett's strength and immunity derive from his connection to her. Jarrett preserved his identity when the aliens placed his brain in a robot. He has saved Elaine from having her child extracted and urges Mark to help him deliver the baby safely. Mark assists Elaine in giving birth, but she dies in the process. Jarrett promises to help Mark find Trent if Mark will ensure the baby's survival. Meanwhile, Trent and Audrey awaken, suspended by vines from the ceiling. Trent retrieves Audrey's second flare, frees her, and they rescue Sarge the same way. Once Jarrett and Mark leave, the captain finds Elaine's body and begins hunting for the baby. Jarrett leads Mark to the armory and gives him an alien weapon that interfaces with his nervous system. He also rigs explosive devices throughout the ship and uses the main computer to locate Trent. At that moment, the captain appears, so Jarrett opens a passage to send Mark back to where the vines hang. Mark finds Trent being dragged toward the beam. Trent frees Sarge, but Mark leaves the baby behind and races upstairs, reaching for Trent's hand before the vine snaps. Tentacles drag Trent away to harvest his brain and hurl his body down into a pile. An alien vine ensnares Audrey, but Mark leaps onto it and slices her free with his alien blade. Audrey and Mark kill the vine robot. The captain leaves Jarrett for dead, but Jarrett is feigning death and still has a bomb. The captain flies back to the chamber of hanging vines. Mark tries to attack him, but his blade suddenly fails. The captain seizes the chance to pursue the baby, injuring Jarrett in the process. Audrey retrieves the newborn, whose eyes glow red with the same power as Jarrett, and is chased by the captain. Jarrett triggers his bomb, blowing up the ship. The explosion crashes it into rural Laos, where two local siblings, Sua and Kanya, witness the crash. They work for a cartel. Sua kills one policeman, while Officer Wana uses a flamethrower to take down a robot. The siblings recover one of the alien eggs. Kanya pockets it. Mark, Audrey, the baby, and Sarge emerge from the wreckage, alive, thanks to the alien fluid. The captain awakens too and begins building more brain-controlled robots, one of which is Trent, who briefly recalls his memories before the programming takes over. Mark and the survivors reach the riverbank, where the siblings confront them. A fight breaks out. Sua attacks Mark, and Kanya subdues Audrey, until more police led by Wana arrive and halt the violence to negotiate. Mark promises help if Sua guides them to a doctor to save the baby. A fragile truce forms, and Sua leads them through minefields. That night, Mark shares Rose's memories with Audrey. The next morning, Harper, the doctor at a nearby temple-cum hideout, confirms the baby has a dangerously high fever and needs a blood transfusion. Discovering that the blue light is biologically compatible with human DNA, Harper theorizes that the aliens seeded humanity on Earth as a harvest and have returned every few millennia to collect us. Using the baby's egg and Mark's alien-infused blood, he develops a serum to modify the beam. When fired through the ship's main cannon, it will free all the brain-controlled robots. They prepare for battle while Sua and Kanya set traps. The captain sends a giant robot to attack Audrey. One trap weakens it, but not enough. Mark takes a rocket launcher, distracting the robot long enough for a trapped trap to kill both Sua and Kanya in a mercy-like moment. The explosion exposes its position, and the captain's ship descends. Inside, Harper sets off to confront the oncoming robots as Mark sneaks through the temple into the ship. Drawing on Jarrett's plan, Mark reaches the cannon room, but is seen by a guard. The beam fires, attempting mass mind control, but everyone remembers to close their eyes, except the baby, who defends herself by glowing red. A cartel member fires a rocket to destroy the beam, just as another giant robot piloted by the captain bursts in. Harper sacrifices himself, saving Audrey and the baby. In the ensuing fight, Mark's dropped Rose's ring causes the guard pilot to hesitate. It's Trent, still under alien control. Mark is forced to push him down a level to survive. He seizes an alien egg, injects it with the serum, and hurls it into the beam, shifting its color from blue to red. Trent instantly recovers, and the beam liberates all the human brains in the robots. However, the captain's robot destroys the cannon, forcing Mark to escape by jumping off the ship. On the ground, Mark scavenges the captain's destroyed blade and rejoins the fight alongside Wana and Sua. Momentarily, Trent commandeers another giant robot and battles the captain, but the captain overpowers him. Mark gives Sua the blade and goes after a rocket launcher, then fires at the captain's robot to aid his son. Meanwhile, Wana and Sua fight the human-brained robots until Wana is surrounded and killed. Audrey shields the baby, who wanders away from the battle into the wrecked cannon room. She reactivates it, only to face the captain again. Mark halts the captain to protect the baby, and Trent uses the cannon to finally defeat him. The red beam blasts into the sky, freeing every brain-controlled robot. Father and son embrace. Audrey names the girl Rose. Months later, Rose, now a young adult, commands a ship built from alien parts. Her crew consists of freed humans and human-brained robots, including Trent. Together, they set course for the aliens' home world to ensure they can never return.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.